back sometimes, I'm like, I mean, we're 18th in the country and we're talking about like that's a bad thing, right? Like,
right.
You know, in our mind, it's like, man, if you don't have us in the top 5, this is crazy. I don't even understand what you're talking about. But you know, I mean, it's just that, you know, it is what it is, right? That's how our guys think, and it probably comes from me because that's how I think too. So, but I don't think it's any pressure. I think where it becomes an issue is like you lose a game, or you know, you lose a game or two, and all of a sudden somebody's like, "Oh man, you guys aren't having that good a year." I'm like, "No, we are. We just play some really, really good teams. Like, we play a tough schedule." I mean,
a local star, University of Tampa star, part of the 1998 UT National Championship baseball team. He is currently heading into his 12th year as a head coach at Jesuit, the prominent baseball team, a national powerhouse, a 20-year head coach, 3-time state champion, and 5-time state finalist. We're going to welcome to the show Miguel Menendez. Coach, good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Preston. How you doing?
This is good, man. It's been a long time coming. We've had a lot of Tampa Catholic love on here. I was like, yo, we got to balance this thing out. We got to get some Jesuit love going on.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you dressed for the occasion too. Everybody realize maybe I do give you some gear every once in a while anyway.
I got a bang down the door. Coach, where's my care package?
Yeah, I know.
This is good, man. I got some great questions lined up, some good conversation we're going to have. I think I want to start at the top. I was doing my research before the show. And in your words, just like, look, I wanted to make it to the MLB just like any young athlete would back in the day. They want to be a major league player. They want to be a professional player in their own right. But you kind of said, yo, if I don't make it to the major leagues, I think I could be a really good coach. And you felt like your grandfather really had a really big influence on that idea coming into your head. Talk to me about the influence that your grandfather, who was a 20-year youth coach, had on your coaching career.
I mean, it's everything. I mean, the reason I coach today is because of him. You know, I was fortunate. My grandfather, growing up in Key West, my grandfather coached at the Little League for a long time. He got involved when his, kids were there, but he stayed through after his kids, and he coached myself and my younger brother, like through his grandkids. And he coached for, 25 plus years at the Little League. And I would see, obviously he was a really good, coach, and we actually had the first pitching machine and the first batting cage in Key West. Like the high school didn't even have it. He had it behind his little grocery store that we owned and we ran. And I grew up there. I was hitting off the pitching machine in the back of the store when I was like 2 years old. And I would spend time with my grandfather all the time. We lived next door to my grandparents. I remember in middle school, like literally I would eat dinner in my house. I would go spend the night in my grandparents' house, stay next door, hang out with him, watch a baseball game, whatever, get up in the morning. My grandmother would make me breakfast. I would go back home, change, and go to school. Like that was 95% of my time. That's what I did. And, I just grew up really tight with my grandfather. I mean, he coached for a long time, but I would see these, adults come back and visit him, and he had such an impact on them. It's just as and he coached 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. Like that's what he coached for all that time down there. And they would come back as grown adults with their own kids and bring them in and talk about what an impact he had on their lives. And I just, that always sat with me. It always made me feel good about who he was, number one, but it always made me think like, man, if I'm not going to make it as a professional athlete, then maybe this is an avenue for me to stay involved in the game. And hopefully I can have the same kind of impact that he's had on people and the relationships that he had with those people, with his players. Like that's always what I try to do.
I have a really good relationship with the Russo family, and Cole said it best. Cole's like, yo, basically Coach Menendez is my guy. He's my guy. And it follows up again, what I read on you is like, yo, you said winning means a lot to you. Let's not play games. Winning means a lot, but it's not everything. Almost just as important as the relationships that you build that are priceless throughout that game. Talk to me about maybe some of the relationships over your 11, 12-year career at Jesuit that you built that are like really strong, that like, yo, I need this in my life, like the Russo relationship or any of the other relationships that you have.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can start with Cole and Tripp. I mean, those guys are like, actually, I'm going to have dinner with Tripp tonight after he gets done with a lesson. So, I mean, those two are special because I've known them for a lot longer. My son, my oldest son played with Cole at Hit Factory, and we grew up with those guys. So, I spent more time around them. But I look at guys like Camden Manassi and Bennett Lee and Jack Anderson and guys that graduated a long time ago here at Jesuit, and like we still in contact, we still get together, we still I just got was fortunate enough that Jamie Arnold invited me to his draft party, right? Like like I appreciate the fact that they still think of me as their coach, they still want to be involved. Like I don't take those relationships for granted. I think they're important. As much, I say this, I tell this to my players, I say it to everybody that wants to listen, I tell it to my parents, like, I don't, I don't know that you're going to find many more people that are much more competitive than I do and want to win as much as I do. But at the end of the day, like, I think those relationships are more important. I've learned, those relationships I built in Key West. I mean, I got guys that still, they reach out and they send me pictures of their kids. I get invited to weddings. Like, those are the things that, you realize, okay, maybe I did have an impact on this young man in a much greater sense than them as a baseball player, but them as a person, as a father, as a husband, as just a citizen. Like that's what we're trying to do here. It's high school sports. Obviously a Jesuit, the expectation is very high, and we have really talented guys and we expect to win. But at the end of the day, I think those relationships also help us be as successful as we are on the field too.
And speaking of relationships, you cut your own son his junior year.
Yeah.
All right. It's almost like unfathomable, right? You look at it, the whole benefit about being on your dad's team is you should be on the team. However, that wasn't the case, right? So take me back to that tryout or those tryouts, and then along that timeline, the conversations in the meeting room with the coaching staff, and you're kind of placing guys and you're lining guys up. And how did that happen where it's between my son and such, and junior may not make it? Take me back to that.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like I had that conversation, maybe too many times I had that conversation with my son, with Miguel Jr. Like, when we first moved up here and I got the job, when he first moved to Tampa, he was in 7th grade. And, I told him, this is a different animal than Key West, right? Like we're heading into something different. And like, this is my job. This is how I pay, this is how I provide for you and our family and these kind of things. So I got to do what's right by the program. Okay. But we had those conversations. We sat in the coach's room, and I'll be honest with you, the coaches, I think, they probably fought it harder than I did as far as like, hey, he's got to make the team. He's got to make the team. And I'm just like, if it's not the right thing, it's not the right thing. Like at the end of the day, like, and I didn't do this for any other reason. Like, trust me, there's the last thing I want to do was cut him from the team. But, it just unfortunately that was a really talented team his junior year, which was the COVID year, 2020. We were ranked number 1 in the country. I'm convinced that if COVID doesn't come, we probably not only win a state championship, we win a national championship. I just don't think anybody was going to beat us that year. It was just a special group. And he was just, he was on the border. It was tough. But at the same token, what I'm most proud of is the fact that, some guys you get told that, and especially when it's your dad and you just think you're going to be on the team, and all of a sudden you hold this negative attitude towards it, or you decide, what, I'm going to give up. And he just worked harder. Like he never worked harder than he did that time, that off season. Again, I got to give Paul Russo a lot of credit. He went and played with Paul in the off season during before COVID came and played in some tournaments and would go work. He would hit with Paul all the time. And he came back and he was a different player. Like it was probably at the time, I don't think anybody, he would admit this, but afterwards, I think it was the best thing that ever happened to him. Because he worked harder than he ever worked. He got in the weight room, and he came back his senior year. He made the team. He wasn't a starter, but he was probably like the 10th first guy off the bench and played a lot and got some starts here and there. And, he got a game-winning hit to help us beat Hillsborough in a big district game. And he started a TC game and helped us win a game. So, I mean, he had a really good senior year, and I don't think that would have happened if he wouldn't have got cut his junior year. I mean, it wasn't easy. I mean, it was a lot of tough conversations.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. But, it was the right thing. And it was, we're not, like I said, just because he's my son, I don't think he should get, I tell everybody this all the time. I don't look, I view them as they're all my sons, right? Like I try to treat them as equally as possible. Like to me, they're family, like they're all family. Like, and so to me, I'm not going to give my son any more special treatment than I'm going to give somebody else, because I think they're all the same.
So you pick the phone up, you look at the phone, and you're like, I got to call my wife. Shit. How did that go?
It went all right. My wife's been around this a long time. She's been with me. We started dating our senior year in high school, and she was, around me all. She's been around. Her dad coached Little League sports. football and baseball for a long time in Key West. So she's been around sports her whole life. So she knew how this went. And we talked about it. Like this, again, it's not something I just sprung on her and she got caught by surprise. Like this was conversations that we kind of had, going into it. Like this is a possibility. This may happen. Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. Right. I mean, it's her baby. Right. Like it's, I get it. And that part was tough. But at the same time, I mean, she understood and she, and she handled it well. I mean, she probably handled it better than I would have if the roles would have been reversed, honestly.
Yeah.
But she really did handle it well. And listen, there's, I say this all the time. I'll throw it out here right now, early on in this interview, like all the success that we've had and I've been able to have, it doesn't happen without her, right? And she lets me do so much of what I get to do. And when every time, she knows when I go to a game, the first thing I do is I look for her. We make eye contact. We have our little look, and she knows what to do. And if she's not there, like I'm in panic mode. Like she's got to be there. That's my rock. And that's the reason she's a big part of the reason that we have the success that we have. There's no doubt about it.
So 2 questions. Let me ask this. So we're on Miss Menendez real quick.
Yep.
And has there ever been you guys get home after the game and you're sitting down, you're maybe decompressing, and she was like, yo, this lady in the crowd or this guy in the crowd was just saying all kind of crazy. I want to cuss him the hell out. Has there ever been that moment where she's like, as the head coach's wife, you have to have a certain persona, right? You can't go ballistic. It's just you have to you hear so much. Has there ever been a point it was just like a boiling point one time, maybe?
No, she handles it well. I think, especially here, our parents are good. I think they all know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think she hears a whole lot, honestly, which is probably a good thing.
Okay.
But she also she understands, like she doesn't take anything personal when she hears things. Like she may bring something up to my attention or something like that. But she doesn't take it personal. Like she understands, like everybody's going to say stuff. I mean, there's not a game that I go to that I'm not second guessing or playing, armchair quarterback or whatever you want to call it when I'm watching games. So like I get it. And she doesn't take any offense, but there's never really been anything that I could think of off the top of my head of where it was something so bad or so egregious where she was so upset. I mean, there may be, a comment here or there, but nothing that would really like set her. But she understands, she plays her role really well, and she understands that she's got to kind of keep her temper as well too. And I've been known to lose my temper occasionally here and there on an umpire or two. So she tries to keep me in check half the time. So she does a really good job. She does a much better job than I do. I can tell you that.
Has there ever been a real heated conversation in the coach's locker room about picking players for the team?
I don't know. I don't know that I would say really heated. I mean, I think we all kind of, we've been here and my staff has been, for the most part, we've had the same guys have been coaching with me for all, now going on 12 years. Daniel Gibson's the newest guy. This will be year 3, but everybody else has been with me the whole time. So like we have a really good feel for what we think is going to happen.
Okay.
They usually call me I'm usually the softy in the room. Like I don't want to cut anybody. I don't like to cut anybody. I mean, it's just tough. So, they make fun of me because usually I'm like, oh, we're going to keep 24, 25, and we end up with 28 or 29 because I'm just like, I have a hard time. I see these guys every day on campus as a teacher. You see them here, you spend time with them, you fall in love with them. Like, they're your guys. Like, it's hard to, So we end up probably, that's usually, if we have an argument, it's that. Like, man, we need to be down. We need to be closer to 24, 25 versus 28, 29. But for the most part, there's never really been like, man, but if a coach, I tell them this all the time. Like, if you feel strongly about somebody, you tell me. Like, I'll rethink my position. Like, I value their opinion. I take their opinion. At the end of the day, it's my decision, right? It's my neck on the line. I'm going to make the final call. Like, I think there's got to be that as the head coach. But at the same time, like, I value what they say. And if they see something, then let's talk about it. Let's spend some time looking at it because maybe I'm not seeing what you're seeing, and let's figure it out. And if 2 or 3 guys got the same kind of thought process, and maybe I'm the guy that's missing out. I know I'm not always right. I tell the guys when we cut them, like, there's guys we cut as juniors, come back and make it as seniors. It doesn't mean we're always get it right, and maybe at that moment you weren't the right fit, but we try to give you an honest look every year to give you the best chance to be successful.
Shifting gears slightly, how much pressure do the publications rankings put on your program? You've been preseason number one. You've ended seasons number one. You've started number 6 in the state. You started number 1 in the state. Jesuit's always a top 10 team, and I like to venture to say nationally all the time.
Yeah.
And every time those publications come out, I know some coaches like, I don't know if I got that type of team this year, or we might be too low. I think we're higher than that. What type of pressure those rankings put on your staff in general when they come out?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that we usually think we're too low always. Like I'm not Lou Holtz by any stretch. Like I tell them we don't sugarcoat it. I tell you, if I think we're good on the Win State Championship, I'm gonna tell you that, right? But I mean, I don't think that, we talk about it all the time. Like we can't control those national rankings, right? Like there's not like, it's not like college football or college sports where there's going to be, a playoff at the end of the year or a College World Series where you can go win, right? Like the only thing we can control is winning the state championship. If we win the state championship, we're going to be highly ranked and something's going to happen and we're going to be in the mix, right?
Yep.
But our guys, like I tell them, like we want it. We want that attention because I think our guys deserve it and it's important and it means something to them. So we don't shy away from it by any stretch. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We look at it and, there was a Max Preps ranking that just came out like way too early, 2026 ranking. I think we were ranked like 18th or something.
Okay.
Now, I sent it to our guys, like, look at this. They think we're only 18th. Like, and I try, like, I sit back sometimes. I'm like, we're 18th in the country and we're talking about like, that's a bad thing, right? Like,
right.
In our mind, it's like, man, if you don't have us in the top 5, this is crazy. I don't even understand what you're talking about. But, it's just that, it is what it is, right? That's how our guys think. And it probably comes from me because that's how I think too. So, but I don't think it's any pressure. I think where it becomes an issue is like you lose a game or, you lose a game or two and all of a sudden somebody's like, oh man, you guys aren't having that good a year. I'm like, no, we are. We just play some really, really good teams. Like we play a tough schedule. I mean, I remember, I think it was the year we won the state championship in 2022. We went to go watch UCF, Cole and Russo and Dom Castellano and Chris Sosnowski were on the team. They were playing at USF. So we went to the game and we took the whole team there because there was 3 Jesuit guys on UCF and we had Joey Vellini, who at the time was at USF. So it was 4 Jesuit guys total, one on each team. And we go there and our guys go to the concession stand and they come back. They say, Coach, man, some guy went over there and said, man, what's going on? Y'all are really struggling this year because we had lost some games. And I'm like, do you see who we played? Like, we're going to probably go win the state championship, which we did. And I'm like, but it's what happens sometimes, right? I think that's the nature of the beast. And like I tell them all the time, like, I'd rather it be that way than have a bunch of people that are apathetic or don't really care what we do, right? They don't, there's no expectation. We'd much rather have expectations than not have any expectations. So, but,
absolutely.
But it does get a little tricky. You lose a game or two and our guy, you start to panic and all of a sudden you drop out the rankings. And I'm like, we don't control that. Just go win a state championship and everything will take care of itself and we'll go from there.
Shout out to 813 Preps and tell me how this went. Because they had TC ranked ahead of you guys. Was it before the first game or was it after the first TC game this year?
It must have been before. It was probably before because I think they were undefeated.
They were undefeated. They were like 12-0 or 11-0 and something like that. So. You guys had maybe dropped 3 or 4, but you played like you went out of town and had a good run. You lost some really good teams, and TC was undefeated, right?
Yeah.
What were the guys thinking? What were the guys thinking before that first Tampa Catholic game with TC being ranked number 1 and the big brothers down the street are behind them and you're about to play in a matter of days?
It's always like it doesn't take much motivation, right, when you're going to play TC anyway. But, I might have sent Jared a thank you text that week about, give us a little extra motivation. Listen, I'm not above using any extra motivation I can use, right? But no, those guys and Paulie, obviously they're doing a really good job over there. They've done a tremendous job. Paulie is unbelievable. The Russo family as a whole is unbelievable. Like they do a great job and they got off to such a great start and they probably deserve to be ranked that high. But, our guys are always going to think, it's just the way it is. They're going to think like, hey, they're not better than us. All right, we need to go play this game. So, they're always looking at it. We're always kind of looking at those kind of things and we don't always get to usually we're the circled game on the schedule and everybody's coming after us. So anytime we can, potentially play an underdog role per se, like
Yeah.
we embrace those things and look at it, and we try to, I'm not above using that to our advantage when we can.
So the first game, neither team hit very well, and I'm talking TC Jesuit. It was a pitcher's duel, as
Yep.
it should be, right?
Yep.
And neither team hit particularly well.
Yep.
And if I remember correctly, Wilson throws the winning strike, and it was a fabulous celebration by a Jesuit side. Now we go to TC, and
Yep.
TC hits really well.
Yep.
That game, all right. And for me, being the media, looking at it objectively, I'm like this because now Paulie's starting to do his thing at TC, all right? And you really want the rival. It's not fun for the media. Obviously, you know, it's not fun for the media if we don't have anything to talk about. If Jesuits always beating Tampa Catholic, that shit's boring. But now you got a good game one. TC wins game 2, and you're like, okay, we may have something brewing here for the years to come. Yeah. What were you guys thinking after that game, or did you just totally look past it?
I mean, I think we kind of already felt kind of what you said. Like, we knew they were coming, they were playing well. Like, and eventually, the law of averages, like, we had won. I think after the first game, I think when Jared or whoever, I don't know if Jared was working, whoever from 813 Press was working, I think I used the quote, I'm a big Miami Hurricane guy. So I used my old quote, like when they used to beat Bobby Bowden in Florida State, and it would go like, Florida State thought they were going to win. Miami knew they were going to win. And I kind of alluded to that in that series. Like, it always felt like, even the last couple of years, like, we've won some tight games with them that, maybe we didn't always play the best, but we just found ways to win. But eventually, I think they were going to come through, and they played well. They probably played well enough to win the first game, and the ball, we just had Wilson on the mound and do an unbelievable game. The second game, they outplayed us. But we figured eventually that was going to happen. It was going to come. I don't think it changed anything from our perspective. I'm like you though. Like, to me, it's like, it's better. Like, obviously we want to win every time we play them just because, but at the same time, like, it's a much better rivalry when this thing is going back and forth and they're winning a game, we're winning a game, whatever, here and there. So I think we're getting to that point, like, where they've done a really good job. It's going to be a competitive game every time they come out. Their guys, they don't fear us. Like, they play, they're confident they're going to beat us. I think that's a big thing, right? Like, I think early, and now they've won, they've gotten over that hump. So it becomes a little, I don't want to say easier, but now there's even more belief probably, right? So I think all those are important things. So I think, they're going to continue to do what they do, and we're going to continue to do what we do. And I think there's going to be some really quality matchups this year and moving forward in the years to come.
Real simple question, could be a complex answer coming up. Is it more fun coaching your Jesuit Tigers or your travel club CBU?
Jesuit Tigers, not even close.
Not even close?
I enjoy my CBU stuff because I coach my son's team. He's my son, and he hasn't been, this year will be the first year where he'll be on varsity with me. So, like, I haven't really coached him. So, like, in the summer I get to coach him. But this is how I view it, Preston. To me, what I do at Jesuit is coaching. What I do at CBU is managing, right? And hopefully, I'm gonna probably upset all my CBU guys over here, but, like, we don't practice in the summer. Like, I got guys that live in Jacksonville. I got a kid from Georgia. I got kids in South Florida. I got kids in Tampa. So we don't practice, right? We show up and play in these tournaments. So really it's just me managing the lineup. We talk about things and I coach them up to a degree, but it's really more managing where, at Jesuit, like, to me, my fun is practice. Like, that's where I get, like, the game is, I don't really do a whole lot. Like, I'm usually like, I don't even get the signs at third base. I don't call pitches anymore. I kind of turn it over to my staff. To me, I'm just trying to turn them loose and let them play. So the summer is kind of like that all the time, where at Jesuit, I get on the practice field and do things and I think really impact those things. So to me, and I'm, as much as I like to win a tournament here and there with CBU, like, winning a state championship to me is a totally different thing. It's just on another level.
All right, here you go. Don't answer too quickly.
Okay.
But here you go. I want you to compare the top current CBU team, all right?
Okay.
You got it in your head? Yep. Versus the 2021 Hit Factory Pro team.
That's a good question.
Yeah, buddy, let's go.
You're gonna put me on the spot. I'm gonna offend somebody. My son, by the way, and my son played on that 2021 Hit Factory team a little bit here and there. So now I gotta really be careful how I answer that. And we had a bunch of Jesuit guys on that team.
I know.
See, I don't. So the top 2026 CBU team this year, I don't know as well. So I'll say the Hit Factory group. I mean that team that had really good pitching. You had Cole and Nick Rod. They played some. You had Jonathan Vastine on that team. They had some really good players on that team. And I'll say this. I think the other thing is those guys. I think the difference sometimes between like Hit Factory and some other organizations, not just CBU, but other places, like they'll play the game to win as far as like they'll bunt and do things in certain situations that maybe other organizations aren't going to do.
Okay.
So to me, that makes a difference. Like I remember going and watching that 2021 Hit Factory Pro team play down in Jupiter and beat this Cincinnati Red Scout team that honestly we probably had no business beating. They were really, really talented, but they wouldn't, our guys executed and did things that those other guys wouldn't do. So to me, that makes a difference as well.
Shift gears slightly. You grew up as a Miami Heat fan, rooted for the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your top 5 Miami Heat players ever.
Oh, wow.
In order.
Dwayne Wade, right? Number 1, okay. Dwayne Wade. Wade County, that's an easy one.
Okay.
I'm going to go, just because of longevity, I'll go Alonzo Mourning, number 2.
All right.
I'm going to go Tim Hardaway, number 3.
Ooh, Tim, okay.
I'll go, man, you're going to put me on the spot because I'm a LeBron guy, and I want to say LeBron, but to me, he wasn't there long enough to sit there.
Only had 4 years.
That's what I'm saying. And same thing with Shaq. So I'll go, I got to go OG original Ronnie Cycli. I think Ronnie Cycli was, they weren't very good back in those days, but he was unbelievable. I love Ronnie Cycli. That's when I fell in love with the Heat. Sherman Douglas at a point and Ronnie Cycli at center. And I'll go Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice
is good.
I would, it's easy to put LeBron and Shaq, and they probably deserve their way on there, but I think those other guys played for the Heat for a much longer period of time. So I'll take those guys. I'm sure I'm probably leaving somebody out, but that's just off the top of my head. I can tell you, Dwayne Wade is easy. That's easy number 1. I don't think anybody will argue that down there.
Not at all. Yeah. Still Wade County.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're going to the Canes now.
Okay.
Start 1, bench 1, trade 1. All right. Start 1, bench 1, trade 1. Here we go.
All right.
Running backs.
Okay.
Adrian James.
Yep.
Otis Anderson.
Okay.
Duke Johnson.
So I'm a little bit. I'm older, but I'm not. I don't really remember Otis Anderson. I know a ton about Otis Anderson, read about him, and I have family members that talk tremendously about Otis Anderson. But I'm going to start Adrian James.
Okay.
I'm going to sit Otis Anderson, and I'm going to trade Duke Johnson. And that's a tough one. I love Duke Johnson.
I know. Hold on. All right, so let me do this. I was waiting
for you to give me I was waiting for you to give me because I'll go. Melvin Bratton's probably my all-time favorite Miami Hurricane of all time. So, I thought you were going to throw him in there, maybe a Willis McGahee or something in there on me too.
I'll say now I could go McGahee, Portis.
Yep.
Stay there. Adrian James.
Yep.
McGahee, Clinton Portis.
Oh God, I'm gonna probably, and this is a pure homerism, and I like all of them, but I'll start Willis McGahee,
okay,
Adrian James, and trade Clinton Portis.
Ooh,
I think it's hard. That's a hard question. That's a tough question.
Canes out there, don't hate them. Canes out there, don't hate them. Don't. Hey, we need you. We need you to still support the Jesuit Tigers. Don't come down on them for that.
No, it's my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. Just my opinion.
Now,
that's a tough one.
On a serious note, here we go, because you're a Reds fan also.
Yep.
Talk to me about the Pete Rose ban and how you feel about Major League Baseball lifting the ban after Pete Rose passes.
Pains me. I hate it. I figured that was probably what was going to happen, is that eventually once he passed away that they would probably lift the ban. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest with you. You could ask my wife. You could ask anybody that's close with me. I've said it from the get-go. If I was Pete Rose, I would have wrote it in my will that if they don't put me in before I die, I don't want to go in the Hall of Fame. I wouldn't take the honor. That's me. That's probably, out of spite, whatever. Like, I'm not saying, listen, I understand, especially nowadays with the gambling that's going on and everything that's happening, and you can't go anywhere without them talking about gambling on sports or in baseball in general. So I get him being banned from the game. I understand it as a manager. That to me has nothing to do on his impact as a player. Like, he would have made the Hall of Fame. You put him in the Hall of Fame. You could make a notation. He could have still been banned from the game. That's fine, but I don't understand why he couldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And to me, now you're going to put him in. I hate it. I mean, I'm sure that his family probably going to want him to go in, and he probably wanted to go in, and that's fine. I understand. But in my opinion, I would have been like, nope. I would have wrote it in my will. But that's probably just me being the stubborn guy that I am too. But I just think there was better ways to handle that. And I don't know if you've ever been to the Hall of Fame. I've been to the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
There's Pete Rose stuff all in the Hall of Fame already.
Wow.
So it's not like he doesn't have stuff in there. So he just doesn't have his plaque in there saying that he's a Hall of Fame member. But they celebrate him. They put him in there. People go look at his stuff. I have pictures of my son next to Pete Rose memorabilia in the Hall of Fame. So to me, like, you're already, like, if you already got his stuff and you're using him to help promote the Hall of Fame, then why can't he be in it? So that's, again, that's my opinion on the whole situation.
Man, how do you tell the story about Major League Baseball without Pete Rose? Right? When you 100%. Talk about the greatest amongst the game, the greatest ever, and you don't have arguably the best hitter ever in that conversation, it just looks piss poor.
No, exactly. That's what I said. I agree. I just, that really, it bothered me. It always bothered me. And then, they didn't even wait 6 months after he passed away before all of a sudden you're going to put him in now. Like, I just, to me, this has always been the plan. And to me, it stinks for him and his family. I hate it. Because, I know how much it probably, well, I shouldn't say I know how much, but I'm sure it would have meant a lot to him. And as a fan, my youngest son will tell you now, like, it's all he talked about was, I want to go when Pete Rose finally gets inducted. I want to go to the induction. And, and now he's not going to be there. So I just, that part stinks.
All right, let's have some fun to end this. You've had some great players come through that Jesuit program. And now you've got to name your GOATs. Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
All right. You get 4, Coach. Okay. You get 4 on the Miguel Menendez era.
Okay.
Jesuit baseball Mount Rushmore. Who are the 4 that are the face of your era of the program? Who's on Mount Rushmore?
Ooh. So
yeah, buddy.
I'm sure I'm gonna offend a lot of people. So hopefully they'll, they don't get their feelings. See how many text messages I get.
You know what? But Coach, you haven't run from anything.
No,
I like that.
I'm gonna answer it. I got my thoughts, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I think there's some people that will probably agree. I think their first 2 or 3 are pretty easy. You get to 4, it becomes a little tougher. To me, like, I think there's a couple. I think Camden Manasseh, Bennett Lee, to me, those are 2 are no-brainers. The first 2 I think of. I think they were on the first state championship team that I was a part of here in 2019. And I think their leadership and what they did, their culture-wise, and how they've helped shape this program has really carried over to the success we continue to have today. So those 2, to me, are pretty easy. I think the third one, Wes Mendez. Wes was unbelievable here in his time as a two-way guy, as both a pitcher and an outfielder, one of the best hitters we've ever had here. And then obviously was so clutch on the mound and pitched in a ton of big games for us. So I think that's an easy one. The fourth one, I could probably go to, I think of like Jack Anderson, who graduated here in 2018, pitched for us. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make Pat really happy. I'm gonna go Cole Russo.
Hey.
I think Cole, number one, is not just as a player. He obviously had a tremendous career here, and he was part of that first state championship team in 2019 too. But I think he brought a dimension that we didn't have at the time. He brought that dog mentality that we just didn't have. I don't want to say we weren't tough enough, but he made us a little bit tougher and brought that mentality that I think that really helped kind of get us over the hump and is kind of carried forward to today. So to me, those are the 4 guys. I'm sure I'm probably leaving some guys out. But off the top of my head, I think those are the 4 guys that I mentioned that I think would be on that Mount Rushmore for me here at Jesuit.
Just a follow-up question. How does Wilson Anderson compare to Camden Manasseh?
They're very similar, like mentality wise. And, if you
Mm-hmm.
ask me this question a year from now, then he might be on this list, right? I'm gonna get
Mm-hmm.
by with not naming him or Caden Wechter right now because they're still playing, so I'm not gonna include them. Um, but I think they're very similar, personality wise, leadership wise. Like they're not afraid to call their teammates out, to hold their teammates accountable. And I don't think you always get that with young kids, right? Because those are their teammates, that's their buddies, that's their friends.
Yep.
Wilson does not care. Like if you're not doing something that's going to help us win, he will let you know.
Mm.
If he's your best friend, he don't like you, whatever it is, like he's going to tell you because he wants to win. That's how bad he wants to win. And
Right.
then just pure stuff wise on the mound, I mean, it's as good as anybody I've ever coached.
Yeah.
It's probably further along than I mean, obviously we had Jamie Arnold just go in the first round. Jamie his stuff wasn't as good as what out of high school, his stuff wasn't as good as what Wilson's stuff is now.
Right.
And both those guys, Wilson and Caden this year, I think both are going to have a chance to work their way into the first round out of the draft this year. So it's going to be interesting to see because those guys are really, really talented. But Wilson is, I mean, what he's done, he's the only guy ever since I've been here in 12 years, the only guy I've had who made varsity from the get-go as a freshman.
Right.
We've had some guys get called up at the end of the year, but he's the only guy that started the year on the varsity as a freshman. I've never had a guy. He's the only one. So I think that speaks volumes for how talented he is. And he's just scratching the surface too.
Well, Coach, you're in the middle of hosting a sold-out Jesuit youth camp. As always, you got to get back to the kids. So I appreciate the time. Is there anything you want to advertise, anything coming up? A shout-out to anybody before I let you go?
I can't think of anything I want to advertise. Just shout out to just everybody that supports Jesuit baseball, man. Our coaches don't get enough credit. Louis Martinez, Mike Swinson, Tim Knowles, Ryan Stanley, Daniel Gibson, like those guys are the backbone of what we do. Kevin Bacon, our head JV coach, Carmelo Lazaro, like those guys, they do a great job for us. And our parents are so good. I know sometimes people, the questions I get sometimes in the community are, man, it must be tough coaching over there. The parents got to be a pain, blah, blah, blah. This and I'm like, man, our parents are awesome. Like they're great. They buy in, they support us. They do, they really, they understand what we're trying to do, that it's a process. And so I just want to thank everybody for that because I think that plays a large role in our success. I know people don't want to hear it, but like those kind of things, when you have parents that are on board, you have the kids are on board, and the coaches, the community, and the staff is on board. Like and when everything's working and it's saying you're pulling the rope in the same direction, it makes things a lot easier. And I'm very thankful for that because I've been in situations where it wasn't that way, and it's definitely much harder. So I appreciate that, and I just want to take the time to thank everybody for that.
Hey, for Coach Menendez, Preston Jackson, we're out.